Welcome to Bleed Purple, a 10-part podcast about the 125-year history of Tarleton State University. Host Drew Myers will cover Tarleton's rich traditions, speak with notable alumni, and uncover the stories that give Tarleton its lasting legacy. Here's your host, Drew Myers.
Howdy, I'm Drew Myers, and you are listening to Bleed Purple, the podcast that tells the story of Tarleton State University through the stories of the people who bleed purple. And there are no two people, maybe in this world, that bleed purple more than two legendary coaches. Coach Joe Gillespie and Coach Carl Pleasant. Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing great.
I'm doing great.
Okay. Coach Gillespie, I want to start with you. Is legendary too strong when we're describing you guys?
Well, not for Carl. Carl is legendary. We were talking earlier about his legend is getting tickets when he was a student here at Tarleton. He felt like that he could park anywhere on campus, and my wife worked in student services, and she voided all his tickets, so it saved him probably $10,000 in fines, but no.
Let's start there. Coach Pleasant, let me ask you, is that a true story? Did you park anywhere and everywhere on campus?
Yes, I did. I just pull up and just stop. And once I saw I could get away with it, I did it. And so I didn't know until today, really, where all those tickets were. Until she said, I said, wow, if I'd have known, I'd probably pull up on the grass then.
Now, Carl, you started here in 1974, right?
Yes, sir, 1974.
And Coach Gillespie, you were coaching here at that time, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let's talk about that, the relationship that you guys had from a student athlete to a coach.
Well, in 1974, I wish I could find the photo in McGregor, Texas, beside our field house that's not even there anymore, where Dr. Gillespie recruited 7 of us. There was 3 offensive linemen, and the rest of them was our entire backfield that he recruited to come here. And so when I think back now, and I'm just looking at that photo, I never thought that I'd be here today. I didn't know the changes that were coming. I was excited, but I was scared because I don't know if I'd ever been past Fort Worth maybe one time in my life. I don't know that I'd ever been West Texas. So it was kind of neat when I think about now, the day he came, there's a picture there, and then 7 of us that came to Stephenville, Texas.
So you came to Tarleton sight unseen?
Sight unseen.
What was your first impression of this university?
Well, the truth, I came through high school and I went, wow. Because I saw the cafe KKK.
Oh.
I didn't know it was the coffee cup till later when I went back there and I ate the nice big pieces of pie that they had there. And then had several athletes later, went back and did some things there. But I was just coming west, had never been this way, and got to Stephenville, and it was just kind of like, wow. So it was kind of neat. But then coming here, and there's several of us that are still friends today from that class. I know it was 60, 70, 80 or whatever freshmen when I went to my practice, but going to a dorm, never been away from home, never knew the support I would get. And then here I am. So it was, my eyes was open. And I really didn't know that I would stay because I didn't know the unknown. And then about school, how would I make it? But I just said, I'll just follow along. And then here we are today.
Well, before I bring Coach Gillespie into the conversation, what made you stay? What kind of set the hook?
Well, one of the things that made me stay is I wasn't by myself. It was 7 of us that came. We were suite mates. And what was neat about the recruiting class that came in, it was like we all came in 5, 6, or 7. When I think about the different groups, and when they recruited, they went and I guess recruited the whole high school to come to Tarleton because that was the groups that we were in and we still are today. I got here and practice was different because I'd been in a small high school. And the numbers was great because there was more that was probably in McGregor, Texas, when you look at everything around. And I just said, okay, let me hang on. With that, getting to the 2 days, and our coaches, they were tough, they demanded, but they were respectful. I remember that. They drove us, but they were respectful, and it was about, this is what you're going to do. So I was just a little freshman just kind of following everybody else. I liked the chow hall.
Okay.
I had a place
That's a big
to
deal.
sleep, you know? And so I was like, hey, it's not bad.
Coach Gillespie, do you remember that photo that was taken outside of McGregor High School with those 7 boys?
Yes, I do remember, and I have a vivid memory of Coach Pleasant, Carl, when I recruited him. I went to McGregor, Texas, and came back with a haul of great athletes. 2 of them are in the Hall of Fame, Kenneth Weehorn, Carl Pleasant. But I remember the first time I laid eyes on Carl, the coach was showing me around, and he was taking me to Carl's classroom. We were standing out in the hall, and he pointed, that's Carl right there. Carl had a little more hair than he has today. But I remember he looked up and saw me and had a great big smile. And right after class, we got to meet. But I have a vivid memory of Carl Pleasant sitting in his McGregor High School classroom. And we're very blessed and fortunate that he decided to come to Tarleton.
Well, I think it's neat that you guys are sitting here today after, coming to school here, Carl, and Coach, you coaching him, and now you guys are both in the Hall of Fame, and you both bleed purple, and that's why you're on this podcast.
Right.
I think it's neat, and it's cool to see your relationship. I like it. So, Coach Gillespie, I have to hear a good Carl Pleasant story once he was on campus. I know you've already mentioned, the parking situation.
Right.
Is there another good Carl Pleasant story?
Oh, there's some that probably we don't need to talk about on the podcast, but a couple of things that were on the athletic field or on the track. We started 15 to 18 freshmen Carl's freshman year in the Lone Star Conference. And that was teams like Abilene Christian, Southwest Texas State, which is now Texas State, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston, and we were lining up these kids against grown men. And it wasn't fair to them, but that's the way the world was at Tarleton State University in 1974. But first game of Carl's career, I was in charge of punt returns and had Carl back as my punt receiver. I don't know what punt of the game it was, but during the game, he ran the punt back for a touchdown against Texas Lutheran. And they were national champions, 2-time national champions. And unfortunately, it got called back. but a great memory of Carl running that touchdown as a freshman against the national championship team. I was also the track coach, and I recruited football players and track athletes in dual sports because I knew if you can run, you can play football. And Carl could run. And the very first meet that we went to was the Border Olympics. Here's some history. The track team that I inherited in 1973, the year before Carl, had not scored a point in the conference track meet for the previous 2 years. 0. Didn't place. Nobody placed. So after the first year, matter of fact, that first year, we scored 12 points, and we felt like, hey, we improved 1,200%. But we went down to the Border Olympics, and Carl Pleasant, Lane McNamara, Bubba Grooms, and Kerry Hill, first race of the finals in the Border Olympics. I mean, this is a big track meet. We win the 4x1 relay. And what a thrill that was for us and for me as a coach, a young coach who inherited a team that hadn't scored a point in the conference meet. Matter of fact, as we progressed through that season, we ended up winning the mile relay at the Lone Star Conference meet, and that was a coaching highlights anyway. But those are 2 stories I remember vividly that I can tell you about Carl Pleasant.
I love it. Carl, let me ask you this. This is kind of a rhetorical question. I know the answer, but you enjoyed your time at Tarleton State University. You had a lot of success early on. Coach just shared those 2 stories. But as a whole, did you enjoy your time here at Tarleton? Surely, because you went on to coach here, become a legendary coach.
Well, I loved it because I came here. It was kind of like a family. And the way that Coach Gillespie and Coach Giles and Coach Fornes, to me, it was like they recruited families, and when we all got here, it was just different. I shared earlier how family was shown from my coaches. I had some great coaches in high school, and I know they loved me. I never went to their house. But right off the bat, it was kind of like we were at their house, and we were doing things. So that family just kind of like away from home that I had family. That was something that carried on to my kids that Tarleton brought to me, and through the coaches of that family and that made it fun. I mean, whether I was running extra for some fun or whether I was not, it was that showed that family, and that's what they showed to us. And we had a lot of freshmen. I mean, probably 3/4 of the team, and it didn't matter if you were from here or wherever or what color you were or whatever it was. We were all there. You all had the opportunity to be around them and be around their wives and be around their kids. And so when that happened, gosh, you're away from home and here's your family.
That was special, wasn't it?
Very special.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very special.
Coach Pleasant, were you a troublemaker in school?
Which school? Elementary, middle school, high school, or collegiate?
At Tarleton. At Tarleton.
Okay.
Did you
At
get
Tarleton,
in trouble? We've talked about the tickets. You mentioned you had to run a little bit.
Okay.
Here, let's do this. I'm going to give you the opportunity to share one of your favorite stories from going to school here.
Okay.
Your best Carl Pleasant story.
On me? Or
on you. On you.
Me? Gosh, man. A good car. I'll tell you a great story that helped me in my life, and even when I came back here.
Love it. Let's go.
I think I'm a pretty good track coach. God has blessed me to be successful. But as a track athlete, I was always getting hurt. I would always pull a muscle or whatever. And the reason of that is because I didn't stick with the schedule. Coach, he'd run me, but I'm going to stay up all night. Or I'm going to go out and do this right here. And Dr. Gillespie, he'd run me, go, man, how you getting hurt and whatever? And so it didn't dawn on me till I started coaching. I was getting out of schedule. So that'll lead you to know some kind of mischievous things that if I'd have stayed with the schedule, what could have happened? But Coach still would run me. He still would expect me with anything else or whatever it was. And so with me coming back to Tarleton, when I talked to Dr. Burby Thompson, the way my name, it came through Dr. Gillespie. I came back here as assistant track coach and football. And so what's unique is I didn't do everything I need by the schedule. That probably stopped me, but he never gave up. He probably knew it, But those fun things away from the track, I probably could have ran a little bit faster and probably would have been more injury-free.
So it's safe to say that Coach Gillespie played a significant role in your life, not just at Tarleton, but after you left Tarleton and came back.
My kids, all of our kids, my wife is a Stephenville native, so I would, on Friday nights probably when I was supposed to be in, I'd sneak over and watch her be in the Stingerettes and sneak back to Crocodile, And so my wife's from here, we have 3 kids. And they all came to Tarleton, and Dr. Gillespie was the same coach he was for me in the years I was here and for my son. And we still today, and it's that group of the 77, 78 group, we're still bonded together, keep up with each other, stay, and it all trickles back to Dr. Gillespie, Coach Giles, and Coach Fornes.
Okay, Coach Gillespie, the $1 million question, how does that make you feel to hear that? Because it's not about wins and losses at the end of the day, is it? You changed Coach Pleasant's life.
Yeah. Oh, that's the foundation of coaching and teaching. That's what you get into it for. And Carl is just one testament that just does your heart good. I mean, that's why we do it. I came here in 1973. I was a high school coach in Lubbock High School. And I took a couple $1,000 pay cut to come to Tarleton. And in 1973, a couple $1,000 was a lot of money because I knew I wanted to be with Coach Fornes and Coach Giles, and we wanted to answer the challenge at Tarleton because the athletically hadn't been good for a while at Tarleton prior to 1973. But Carl Pleasant, Kenneth Weehorn, I could name 100 kids. And even in my teaching, that's what I do. That's our payoff, and makes my heart feel good.
So when you guys get together, whether it's here on campus like we are today, or you pick up the phone, you said you've been to some events together and things like that. How is it when you guys see each other?
Warms your heart again. And I think those couple of teams in 77 and 78 had a special bond. As a matter of fact, we, up until this year, we have a reunion every year in the springtime at one of our players' home, Russ Crawford. He's having some serious health issues right now, and I want to be sure we acknowledge Russ because he's one of the good guys. He's one of the founders of the change in athletics at Tarleton. But it's moving. I mean, it's a culmination of your career. And you can look back and say, I made a difference, you know. Carl Pleasant made a difference in my life. So he made me better, made me a better coach, made me a better professor, made me a better dean when I was in the dean's office. People like him, and I had a lot of them, not only in athletics, but in academics as well.
Carl, I've got a 3-part question for you, and I'll walk you through it if you forget all 3 of the questions. I don't mean to overload you here, but question number 1, what is your biggest accomplishment that you're most proud of? Okay, let me just kind of run through a couple maybe that are on the list. 8-time TIAA Coach of the Year, 14 conference championships, 3 national champions, and a graduation rate of 95% as a coach. Okay, that's not even talking about your, being a student athlete here. Okay, so there's all of that. So what's your biggest accomplishment? Question number 2 is, what did it mean to go into the Tarleton Hall of Fame? And then question number 3 is, what does it mean to bleed purple to you? Tack those in any order that you want to.
I'll start off with the first question, all the honor that I received. Probably the one thing of all of that, the academic achievement.
It's impressive, man.
Yeah, the academic achievement, and how this links back to Dr. Gillespie. My son told me this, so that means it went on for a while. You go to class. You do not miss Dr. Gillespie's class, and you better not find out that you missed another class. So it's like you're in college, but it's like you're in preschool. And so with that, it was easy for me because if those students will go to class, do what they're supposed to do, they're going to graduate. When I was in high school, I wanted to pass. But where I first saw that you better get yourself to class and you better get your grades was Dr. Gillespie made it perfectly clear to everybody, offense, defense, or what, go to class. And so to me, that was probably, we had some national champions. We both have shared some national champions and all that, and that was great. But when you think about the academic achievement was probably the best.
Like I said, that's impressive. Yeah. Okay, question 2. When you were inducted into the Tarleton Hall of Fame, how did that make you feel?
Oh, man, to be able to join my colleagues, my coaches and all, it's kind of like a family reunion. And when you have a family reunion, all the old stories and all the fun memories, good, bad, or whatever. So when I had that call, when that call was made to me, it was like, wow. I mean, it was a celebration.
And what does it mean to you to bleed purple?
When I think bleed purple, I think of one word, family.
You keep using that word. I like it.
Family. Because that's what was, when I came here, when Dr. Gillespie brought us, he brought us at 7 guys that I know. It helped us that stayed to get through it, and other families that came together. And then they mirrored that to us So it was easy for me with my family that I have, and then with my extended family, where it's track or whatever that I was coaching, because it had been mirrored for me, and it was just kind of easy.
All right, Dr. Gillespie, same questions. Let me just run through some of these accolades real quick, and you tell me which one are your favorites. 7-time Conference Coach of the Year. You had the number 1 defense in 1978. Handful of All-Americans. So that's just a couple things that you accomplished as a coach here. Question number 2, what did it mean to be inducted into the Hall of Fame? And last question, what does it mean to you to bleed purple?
Okay. First question.
Accolades.
Accolades.
Is there one that means more to you than the others?
I think what means more to me, and it's not in accolades, is the relationships that I had with players and athletes that I coached. And not only that, is I still have those relationships. Hundreds of kids that I have coached in the past, and we still have a relationship. I can't put a number on that. That means more to me than Hall of Fame or the number 1 defense in the nation. We were really good on defense in 1978. We had people like Tally Neal and Wayne Schumacher, and all, these guys are in the Hall of Fame with us. Let me give you a statistic, but I still value the relationships more than anything. That year, we gave up 125 yards rushing in 9 ball games.
The whole season?
The whole season.
Wow.
That's 4 inches per snap.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. I mean, it's a record that will never, I don't think, be touched. I mean, that was a highlight. Certainly that was a highlight. We made the NAIA Division II national playoffs. We played Findlay, Ohio, up in Ohio. We held them to 67 yards total offense and got beat.
That's crazy, too.
That's crazy. But the relationship with these guys, I know this, that I could pick up the phone and call any one of them, and if I needed help, I got it.
I love that.
I can't put a price tag on that. And so I feel very honored and humbled to have those experiences.
What did it mean to you when you were inducted into the Hall of Fame?
I look back when I came to Tarleton in 1973 as a young coach, 25 years old. I was coaching kids that were older than me. And I told my wife when we came in 73 that we'll be at Tarleton 3 or 4 years, then we'll move on. And 44 years later, I retired at Tarleton. And then, so 51 years we've been here, and she still asks me when we're gonna leave.
When are we leaving?
Yeah, when are we leaving? But to even imagine that was going to happen was not even on a radar. But it was a great moment in my life. I mean, is it as important as when you had a child? No, but it is. It's one of the highlights of my life.
The last question, what does it mean to you to bleed purple?
Hard to put in words. That term, bleed purple, came during President Thompson's tenure, and I believe a guy named Ron Newsom was the instigator of bleeding purple. I'm thinking, but it's intangible. It's something that you can't put your finger on, but it's real. It means the emotion that you feel when you were inducted into the Hall of Fame. It means going to the national track meet and seeing your kids become All-American. It means going to the national playoffs in football. It means winning our first conference championship in football after these kids in 74 and 75 took it on the chin for 2 years, and then payback in 77 and 78 with conference championships. They could have easily left us and wouldn't have blamed them a bit, because We threw them to the wolves, and they fought their way out of it and came out on top. That's bleeding purple. That's what it is.
Okay. So let me say this, a couple things. Thanks for doing this, first and foremost. You guys look great in your Tarleton gear. You're logoed out today. I think that's awesome. Words that keep coming up: relationships, family. And you guys didn't say this, but this is what I pick up on: legacy. You guys laid a foundation. Tarleton has had a lot of success athletically. But like you said, Coach Gillespie, before, in 71, 72, they did not. Do you agree with that legacy is a part of this conversation?
Yes, I do. It's our past, it's our history. It's kind of a base, but it's kind of like life. And what's unique is I think about it now, we were at the right place, the right time, and God covered us. And sometimes blessings come to you that you don't understand. Why'd you stay what you do, why they did it? And then you look up and you look back and you go, wow, we just thank God.
Coach Gillespie, are you proud of the legacy that yourself and Coach Pleasant helped create at this university?
Oh, absolutely. I'm thrilled to death to do this with Carl, and would have been thrilled to do it with 100 other athletes, but he represents those guys well, and couldn't think of anybody better to do this with. But yes, absolutely. Tarleton has been good to me and to my family. The Texas A&M system has been good to us in my retirement. Young coach that came here that wasn't going to stay but 3 or 4 years, made a lifetime out of, and a good life here in Stephenville. I think Stephenville, Texas is a great place to live. And I would tell people that when we were recruiting faculty, recruiting other coaches, I said, you'll never find a better place, safer place, good place to live than Stephenville, Texas. And Tarleton fits right into that mode. I'm proud to be a Tarleton Texan.
And just like that, we will drop the mic. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. 2 perfect, legendary coaches coming on a podcast that celebrates anything and everything Tarleton State University, telling the story of this university through the stories of the people who bleed purple, like Coach Carl Pleasant and Coach Joe Gillespie. Thank you guys so much. I'm your host, Drew Myers. Thank you for listening. Bleed purple. Bye.
Are you ready to take control of your financial future? Doug McLemore is the founder of McLemore Financial Group and a proud Tarleton graduate and supporter. The company specializes in providing personalized financial planning and investment strategies tailored just for you. Whether you're saving for retirement, planning for your child's education, or seeking to grow your wealth, their experienced advisors are here to guide you every step of the way. You can find them at 1529 West Lingleville Road in Stephenville, or on the web at mclemoregroup.com. Or give them a call at 254-968-1020 to schedule your free consultation. McLemore Financial Group is your partner in financial success. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through McLemore Financial Group, a DBA of Advisor Resource Council, a registered investment advisor. McLemore Financial Group and Advisor Resource Council are separate entities from LPL Financial.